The COVID pandemic created huge distortions in food markets in Australia and abroad, changing where we ate and how we shopped. The most dramatic shifts were the closure of restaurants and cafes, which halved the amount of money spent in this channel at the peak of the crisis, with only takeaway and delivery saving operators from a worse fate. The second distortion was a surge in shopping at supermarkets, first for pantry stocking and then reflecting the impact of increased cooking at home. Almost 18 months after the virus reared its head, we're starting to see a return to more normal spending habits. In Australia, the amount of money we spent on eating out of the home regained pre-COVID levels for the first time in March, and by April was 6% higher. This was underpinned by increased mobility, healthy incomes, and better adjustment of restaurants to new operating conditions. By contrast, the extraordinary growth in food sales at supermarkets has abated in recent months. Offshore, the US isn't far behind us. In April, their food service sales fell just short of pre-COVID levels, though retail food sales are still faring really well, buoyed in part by the recent stimulus checks most consumers have received. The recovery of food service sales in markets like Australia and the US is good news for companies that operate in this channel. What had been a golden run for the Golden Arches came to a spectacular end when the crisis hit, with McDonald's sales down 24% globally in last year's June quarter. But with a helping hand from lower infection rates in key markets, the Biden stimulus, and some nifty improvements on takeaway and delivery platforms, the company was back to growth in the March quarter and has regained pre-crisis sales levels. The recovery in the food service channel is also great news for Australian farmers. The return to eating out helps support sales of products that are heavily reliant on this channel, such as seafood, Wagyu beef, premium wines, and gourmet lettuce. It also boosts the market for produce that's high quality but somewhat off spec. Say an avocado, great for smashing, but not for retail sale as a whole fruit. And that secondary market is really important for the margins of Australian fruit and veg producers. Not all food markets are recovering as fast around the world, and some like China have regained pre-COVID levels but are not growing as fast. But Claudine, we're in a much better place than we've been for a long time, and that's good news for Australian food companies and Australian farmers.
Thanks, Tim. It's great to see the positive turnaround for the Australian food sector. We've been very fortunate.